Hi everyone, Bandanner here. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to WARNO League Season 0.5 from SDL. Now, if you've already watched my yearly update for the channel video, which I do recommend you go and watch, I explained that I won't be doing quite as many casts as I was last year. Obviously, it became a staple that I was doing on nearly every day. But the reality is I make tiny amounts of money off the hour or two of work that go into each of those videos, and it's just not an effective use of my time. So I will still be casting games, but I'll be doing it with less editing, and I won't be doing as many. I'll be focusing on other stuff as well. But please do check out the other videos on the channel. I'll be covering other strategy games. I'll be covering Broken Arrow when it comes out. I'll also be covering a lot of Stalker 2 when that releases, hopefully early this year. So lots of stuff to look forward to on the channel that's not just WARNO, but we will still be covering WARNO. We'll still be doing our weekly dev blogs and everything else. So that's just sort of a quick update for those who missed that video, but please do go and check it out. I've also got a couple of videos up about upcoming game titles that might interest you as well. So today we are in Division 2 with Sleepy Joe and Stahl. Sleepy Joe is also called Planetary, I believe, on Discord. So if you don't recognize the name, that is why. Sleepy Joe is over on the right in blue playing as the 119th, and over on the left in red we have Stahl playing as the 79th. So a bit of a Russian Civil War, tank division versus tank division. Let's get this show on the road. Let's have a look at what everyone has down. So Sleepy Joe has some Motorazvedka heading up to Alpha in the BMP. At the back here we have a Igla and a machine gunner heading up into Alpha as well, and then we have a BMP command heading up there too. So quite defensive in nature there. Over at this side we've got some Spetsnaz GRU, 2 squads of heading up into Delta. Quite sensible. It's usually good to have a couple of units in there. At this side we've got another Spetsnaz GRU heading into Charlie. We've got the Mi-24K heading into Delta just for a bit of recon and defense. We've got the machine gunner again here coming up into Delta. Not that we see a lot of those machine gunners in the game, especially in tournaments. We've got an Igla, we've got a Strela, and we've got a T-80 BVK. Why don't we see those machine gunners very often, I hear you ask? Well, they're just not very good at the moment. But you never know, maybe they'll get a buff in the future again. The Spetsnaz GRU at this side, funnily enough, for Stahl, will also be going into Delta and Charlie, but only one in each, so he will be outnumbered. Spetsnaz GRU going up here to Bravo as well. At the back, we've got a Metis and an Igla, basically just defensive up there for Stahl as well. Down here, we've got a couple of Mi-24Vs. Sorry, an Mi-24V AA and an Mi-24P, sorry. Interesting. Usually people go for a couple of anti-air choppers in this situation, but I guess that provides more ground attack as well. Let's have a look. So, Igla, Sapri RPO, Motorstocky in the BMP, ×2 in the BMP2, T-80 BV IZD 29, the Strela, and the BRDM2 command. So we're going for a full-on assault into Delta here. This will be a really interesting opening. Let's hit start. Let's switch to the controller and get zoomed in on Delta. This is where the action's going to be. That Mi-24K is going to come unstuck against the Mi-24V anti-air chopper. So Stahl should have the advantage in the opener here. And actually, this might make all the difference. Because in my head, I'm thinking Spetsnaz versus 2 Spetsnaz. Well, the 2 Spetsnaz win. But actually, the 2 Spetsnaz are probably going to get ripped apart by the Mi-24P. What will make a difference here is if either player has bought a jet. And yes, there it is. Jet coming in on the minimap on the right-hand side there. MiG-29 anti-air coming in for these helicopters. Mi-24K under fire, but Mi-24V goes down, badly damaged. MiG-29, no. I don't know if it damaged itself there as well as the Mi-24V hit it. But the Mi-24P in a good position here, sees off those Spetsnaz, and that was the concern. Su-27S has also been purchased. I wonder if that was a bit of a panic purchase there by Sleepy Joe. Mi-24K, though, now able to engage on the Spetsnaz GRU coming in from Stahl's side. Mi-24P being ripped apart by the Mi-24K here. It's going to go down. I'm not sure who came out on top in that opener, to be honest. I think it was probably Sleepy Joe. Stahl may have Spetsnaz Gru in the point, but he lost both his choppers, and in all of that, I think one squad of Spetsnaz Gru was killed, and it's transport. But otherwise, Sleepy Joe came out pretty well there. Down at the bottom, we have Spetsnaz Gru engaging on Spetsnaz Gru. Got an MI-24P being called in down there by Stahl. Obviously, he hasn't seen the Igla being called in there. He might have seen it a bit too late. Stahl does manage to cap that central point. It's currently +1 to Stahl. Now neutralized, though. A little bit of an exciting opening there. The jet's making quite a bit of difference, but obviously an expensive purchase, a second jet. That said, Stahl did then buy a second MI-24P, which aren't cheap either. I'm just trying to keep an eye on both these points at the same time. We'll keep that on the left there. Stahl is coming out on top here, though. He simply has more units engaging in this fight. T-80BVK is having to retreat. So, although the initial opening fight seemed to go Sleepy Joe's way simply by numbers of units in the point, Stahl is now coming out on top. Spetsnaz Gru over on the left-hand side there, about to get ripped apart by the Mi-24P and already being set upon by the Modostrelki. BMP-2 is also moving up. Mi-24 VAA chopper coming in now for Sleepy Joe. Oh, Mi-24P under fire. Takes some damage from the Igla on the ground. HE bomber comes in over the central point there. Oh, that was a nice drop. What a carpet bombing straight across that point. Gets a kill on Sapriopio and a Modostrelki BMP. That was a nice strike. Look at the carpet bombing on those buildings. Sleepy Joe relying heavily on these 12.7mm machine guns. They're better than the 7.2mm machine gun teams. But, yeah, they just don't dish out the damage considering they're such a small squad and die very easily. That's why you don't see them used often. Stahl's still in control of that point. Very badly damaged infantry and a badly damaged tank in there at the moment, though. But he is still in control here. He'll be pleased with that. A command has gone up to the top to cap that point as well. He's now bringing a command down to the bottom to cap this point. It's currently +1. It's always slow on this map. It's one of the dual maps, so the points aren't worth very much. Mi-24P trying to engage on the Strela there. Gets taken out. Rightly so. It was already badly damaged. Over at the top end of the map there, very little happening. BTR-80 just pushing up into that tree line, but I'm not expecting a push up there anytime soon. Got a T-80U coming in for Sleepy Joe now. Would like to see more heavy tanks for this map for both players, to be honest. It's quite an open map. Tanks usually fare pretty well due to the ranges involved. Interestingly, T-80B heading into that top point for Stahl now. Perhaps he's thinking he might try and do a push up there as well. Stahl can be quite the aggressive player. He joins me often for WARNO Wednesday, where I tend to play 10v10s. He's very good and can end up very much at the enemy base at the other side of the map if left to his own devices too much. Mi-24AA and the Mi-24K still in action for Sleepy Joe. He's managed to keep those alive so far this game. Lots of supply coming in for him as well. Stahl has the map control, but I feel like both players are trading reasonably well. I think we'll see a bit of a build-up of tanks and maybe some IFVs and things like the BMPs in preparation for a push from Sleepy Joe's side. The reality is Stahl could just sit pretty. He doesn't need to push necessarily. He can just wait now. He can just defend. And we will see him build up some defenses. As I say though, Stahl can be a very aggressive player. He may well still try and push the other side of the map. Those helicopters rushing in to that point there. Going in for some kills here. Trying to get hits on the T-80B. Taking fire from this building, but the units in there just get slaughtered. Rockets are very powerful. T-80B there getting smashed a bit by rockets. There's a MiG-23 coming in for the kill. Gets the kill. Takes fire from an Igla. Oh, SU-27S in as well. Bit of dogfighting going on. MiG-23 will be out of there, I would imagine. Zoom out so we can see that. Does manage to launch. Oh, wait. What's coming in here? It's the same MiG-23 turned around and went for the Su-27S. I wasn't expecting a dogfight. I was expecting that MiG-23 just to be evac'd. Another jet coming in down here. I'm zooming backwards. A HE bomber. Once again, dropping on the industrial area there by the looks of it. Same place as before. Doesn't get any kills this time. The T-80 BV ICD is moved out of the damage zone. Reinforcements heading in to the top now for Stahl. Sleepy Joe also bringing in reinforcements there. And Mi-24 VP coming in. Now that is an expensive chopper. 240 points. It does have ECM though, 20%. Obviously, fast response. I feel like Sleepy Joe wanted to get control of that point, but Stahl is going to see him off by bringing in a lot of reinforcements there. Sleepy Joe also doing a push down here, trying to go over open ground towards this point. He will come up against those tanks. How much attention is Stahl paying here? Artillery coming in as well. An all-on assault across the map by Sleepy Joe here. This is actually very nicely done. Obviously, it really throws people off when you attack multiple parts of the map at once. And just trying to keep it all in scope at the moment. We do have another jet in for Sleepy Joe. I think that's just on station to protect those helicopters. Has forced Stahl back at the top end. He's had to move all this stuff back here and just hold. While he worries about this push here. He's also being a little bit aggressive over here himself with that BMP-2 and the Motorstrelky. T-80U badly damaged, but the T-80BV also badly damaged. T-80BVK, half health. That's the one to keep an eye on. He needs that alive, so you'll have to be careful with it. Already reversing it. That assault has failed. Most of the infantry is dead. However, he has managed to cap the point at the right-hand side of the map. However, he's lost the Mi-24 VP. That's an expensive loss. Did manage to take out the Strela 10M, though, that killed it. MiG-29 here, being engaged by the MiG-23, which is actually going for the chopper, but manages to fire off long-range missiles anyway. Gets the chopper. A Mi-24V rocket attack in now as well for Sleepy Joe. I'm a little bit worried he's spamming out helicopters when he doesn't necessarily need to rely on those. Obviously, they are fast response, but they are costly. They just get there faster than normal infantry would. The assault at the other side, well defended by Stahl. He's held all of that off. And he didn't actually lose any tanks there, so he will be happy with that. BRDM-2U command moving back up towards the top point there. T-80U still trying to engage here. Going after the T-80BVs. T-80BVs putting up a hell of a fight though, and the Conker's also joining in. T-80U is quite a strong unit though. Will take a lot of punishment. But it is now severely outnumbered by the amount of things. Oh, and the Conkers get the side shot. T-80U goes down. That's an expensive loss. I think we've definitely seen a swift change in the kills to losses here. I think we're now seeing Stahl coming out on top in the exchanges. Losses of expensive helicopters. Losses of expensive tanks. And if you look at this side of the map now that we're kind of focusing on, you'll see that Stahl has a massively overwhelming force. If he chooses to push here, he can just take the other point here. No problem at all. T80B is a little bit damaged, but what's going to stop it at the moment? The Motorstrelki that are about to arrive will massively help. He is being a little bit pushy maybe. He's just moving stuff to the edge of that forest. Yeah, he's going for it. As I say, Stahl can be very aggressive. He's going to have to be careful here, though, because you've got those BMP 1Ps across there. He really needs the tanks to deal with those. The BMP 2 and the BTR are being used to explore. The SU-24M HE bomber is in again. That hasn't actually managed to do any serious damage for a while. Let's go in on that and just see what it's up to. There's the bombs away. Oh, this could be nasty. It's going to hit that building. Oh, it did very little. It damaged the Ural, but it didn't get any damage on the building. The SU-24M went down. Back over here. One BMP 1P is down. T80B VK has been moved up to try and assist in defending this. The T80B badly damaged is pulled back by Stahl. Oh my word. Sleepy Joe is going all in with helicopters here. There's a big force here now. He's got another T80B VK arrived. These are expensive units though. Some clever play by Stahl. He could kill a couple of commands here. And that one's got its tracks broken for 30 seconds. Is this what I think it is? So what I think it is an SU. It is an SU-25 AT. Oh, that T80B VK. Both of them are probably going to die here. The biggest threat is down. We will see the SU-27S come in. SU-25 needs to make a decision. Is it staying in to engage the other T-80? The tracks aren't broken anymore. It's going to go back into hiding. SU-25 has to evac and has been damaged now. Good push here by Sleepy Joe. He's completely ignoring the other side of the map now and just going for this side. Currently it is +2 to Stahl. Stahl is kind of in control over at the other side where I'm just hovering my mouse. You'll notice he's pushed right up with his infantry to the edge of where Charlie is and the tree lines and hill there. So really, Sleepy Joe has to take this point and then he has to find a way to push across the map. I mean, this is just a complete turnaround. It looked for a few moments like Stahl had the bigger force, but Sleepy Joe just came in with everything. That Strela should just leave. It's going to die. An unexpected turnaround. It looked like Stahl had defended well, cleared everything up, had a push going, and then all of that stuff arrived. And I cannot fault the purchase of all the helicopters at this point. It really made a difference. He's cleared up everything while the reinforcements came across. The problem is, where does he go from here? On the dual version of this map, there is no point here for him to take. So he now has to decide, does he go for this point? Or does he push over here? But look, Stahl, as I say, can be a very aggressive player. Look at where he's going. He's going for the back point. He knows that the majority of Sleepy Joe's forces are up here, and where can they go? The answer is nowhere without crossing lots of open ground in the middle or lots of open ground at the back. So Stahl will now push this back point where he knows there's nothing protecting it. And this is the issue if you are against a player who can sort of quickly calculate where you've spent your resources, then they will counter push elsewhere. TDBVK being called in here by Sleepy Joe, but Stahl's looking good. His command is just charging into the point. SU-27S coming in, looking for a kill on that other SU-25 rocket, which will evac. It may die. I don't imagine that Stahl is too worried about that, to be honest. It does go down. Not sure where he was going with it. +4 to Stahl as he caps this back point. And I'm just looking here, where does Sleepy Joe go? I mean, he's moving his infantry up there, which will cause problems for that tank, but he's kind of stuck at that part of the map. That it is a big focus on the bottom here without those back points at the top. I've said it before, I still think this dual version of the map should have those back points here. Here we go. Helicopters coming across for Sleepy Joe. Trying to cut off Stahl from behind. And let's be fair here, the majority of Stahl's forces are now pushed up into this zone. 7 minutes to the victory for Stahl. T-80U in play in this point. And a T-80 BVK on the way in. One coming around the back as well. I don't have high hopes for the T-80 BVK at the back here. I think that's going to get killed by Stahl. Though that T-80B is in a bad way because of those helicopters. Who wins out of this fight here? Oh, Sleepy Joe gets the kill. Stahl was stunned down by the rockets from the helicopters. T-80 BVICD not looking too hot against the T-80U here. Badly damaged, routed. The other one's still engaging. T-80 BVK moving in as well. Has Stahl overextended by taking this point? It's got him a lot of points in terms of victory points, but he's lost a lot of tanks. AC-25 rocket coming in for those helicopters. Gets some damage off on the T-80 BVK as well. Is now being evac'd. Still +2 to Stahl, even though this point is now neutralized. SU-25AT does not get the kill on the T-80 BVK and goes down to the MiG-29. Throughout this game, Sleepy Joe has maintained some kind of air superiority. The Strella's just not doing enough damage. Strela goes down to the T-80. This has been an exciting game of a bit of back and forth. Stahl maintains his +2. 11 minutes to the victory. It's a challenging game though for both players, but someone surrendered. Wait, what? What? That was weird. It ended strangely. And I've got It's a Draw coming up. Elapsed time 19 minutes 32 seconds. That's not a draw. It wasn't even remotely close. I found a bug. Okay, let me just double check who won that game, guys. Apologies. So the winner of game 1... The winner of game 1 was... Sleepy Joe did win. As a minor defeat to Stahl. That's really weird. I have no idea why it's saying draw here. That is a bug in the replay, I guess. So it was a win for Sleepy Joe. I assume Stahl surrendered or disconnected. I will try and find out and then put a little note on the video. Sleepy Joe wins game 1. I guess Stahl had lost a lot of units at that point, and, you know, kills to losses had switched round. Let's have a look at the kills and losses. T-80 did well there, but then it sort of, everything was doing a little bit of damage, not getting many kills, but at the other side, Sleepy Joe seemed to clear up. Let's have a look here. So, at the start, certainly looked like Sleepy Joe was doing well. Then it kind of switched into Stahl getting quite a few kills. Then it switched back to Sleepy Joe. Then it switched back to Stahl getting a lot of kills. And then towards the end, it kind of went a bit back and forth. But at the very end here, very much Sleepy Joe getting loads of kills. I was sort of imagining in my head that Stahl might surrender because he lost so many of his tanks that he'd overextended. But that entire situation there was weird. I think he must have disconnected. But game 1 goes to Sleepy Joe or Proletary. But that's interesting. I'll have to note that down as a bit of a bug in the replay. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Please do like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for the rest of this series of games.